Good day. In this video, we're mainly going to focus on the reduction of cofunctions when using variables. Then we will mix them up with the other reduction problems that we explained in the previous video. We'll come back to this, but when you do reduction, you first check in which quadrant is it. Decide on the sign of that given name or function from cost. Decide on the name of the function you're going to use and put brackets around all. We will get sine, cos or tan with brackets like these stuck to them. When this happens, 180 or 360 or just theta, the name of the function will never change. Then we might run into brackets looking like this with a theta and a 90 combined or a theta and a 270 combined. Then the name of the function will change to the cofunctions. That is the purpose of this video. We're going to work on the Cartesian plane. We always start at naught here, and if we go positive, we go in this direction. This is positive. And if they say we're going to go negative something, we're going to go in this direction around. You should know the cast diagram. It'll give you a little rhyme now. Starting at 0 degrees here, that'll be 90. From here to here is 180, 270, and 360. You can always go backwards from here, minus 90, minus 180, minus 270, and minus 360. In the previous video, we explained all the functions on this Cartesian plane, except these two. This is called Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4. The cast diagram with a little rhyme, all students take coffee. The cast diagram tells us all functions are positive in the first quadrant. Sine and cosec is positive here. Tan and cot is positive here. Cos and sec is positive here. For the purpose of this video, I want you to think that the theta you see every time is an acute angle. So every theta you're going to see is an acute angle. For the purpose of this video, I'm using theta all the time, but you could have used beta, alpha, or any letter of the alphabet to replace the size of that angle. In the video, Reduction Trig 1.1 Variables, I went to a great extent explaining what I'm going to do now, so I'm just going to quickly summarize this again. These four brackets forces us into the first quadrant. Let me explain it to you quickly. It says here theta. That means plus theta. We go in a positive direction for the acute angle and stop. The next bracket says 90 degrees minus theta. So we go positive 90 degrees, negative acutely. Remember, there's no word like acutely. When you have a combination of 90 degrees and theta in a bracket, the name of the function will change. In which quadrant is this bracket? It says minus theta, so we're going to go minus acutely and then plus 90 degrees. And the name of the function will change. Please stop the video and get your brain around this. I'll come back to this just now. Cofunctions are, if you get a sine 90 and a theta in a bracket, you'll change it to cos. Get a cos with a 90 and a theta in a bracket, you'll change it to sine. They are cofunctions, sine, cosine. In the same way, sec and cosec are cofunctions. And in the same way, tan and cotan are cofunctions. What makes our video quite easy is we will only be working with sine and cosine in this video. But it is so extremely easy, you can just do this extra when you need it one day. Now, firstly, we have to find out in which quadrant a bracket falls. Theta, we already said, you start at naught and go up acutely. That's why it falls on that line. 90 degrees minus theta. Let's hide the others quickly. We start here at naught, plus 90, minus theta. We are on this line. There are definitely different methods of doing this, but I'm going to stick to the easy one I understand. Now we're going to look for minus theta plus 90 degrees. I start here, minus theta, plus 90. I'm back here. Now take my word on this. Spend some time on the angle of 270 degrees. We're not used to it. minus 270, we will start here. This is a minus direction, so we'll go minus 270 minus theta. This is a mouthful, but according to me, not. The next one is minus theta minus 270. We start here. Negative theta, negative 270. All four of these fall in the first quadrant, and their name will change. You don't have to memorize this or write this down. Now for the second quadrant, most of us are used to the 180 degrees minus theta. Let's see where it came from. From here we started at naught, plus 180 minus theta. Let's see in which quadrant we're supposed to be with these brackets. We start here at naught, plus 90, plus theta on that line. So in the second quadrant. Now theta plus 90 degrees, start at naught, plus theta, plus 90 degrees. We're in the second quadrant. Be careful now. Minus 270 plus theta, we start at naught. Minus 270, I told you, be careful. And then plus theta, I told you, be careful. Next one, theta minus 270, start at naught, plus theta, minus 270. Please stop the video and get your brain around these four. Don't copy them down, understand them. Remember, here's your Cartesian plane. Here's your third quadrant. We usually call this 180 degrees plus theta. From here, 180 plus. This one is the 360 minus. We start here, go around, come back. Let's see how we read this bracket. It says minus 90 minus theta. I start here. Minus 90 minus theta. Let's take 270 degrees minus theta. It's plus 270 degrees minus theta. Please make sure you understand where these brackets fall. And when you see these brackets next to a name, the name will change. You should be able to understand this now. These four will fall in the fourth quadrant. I'm just going to do the first one with you. Theta minus 90 degrees. I start here. Plus theta minus 90 degrees. Please stop the video and check that they fall in the fourth quadrant. We're going to do these together then, and then I'll give you 40 to look at with their answers, and you can check yourself. Now these four rules you must write down. Number one, in which quadrant is the bracket that we have. Number two, decide on the sign of that name or the function they gave you. Then decide on the name you're going to use, and then put everything in brackets because you will have this inside sums. I say again, find the quadrant. Find if it's plus or minus there. Decide on the name you're going to use and put everything in brackets. Here's our first one, cos 90 degrees minus theta equals. Just going to do the first two with you. 90 degrees starts over here. That's 90 degrees minus theta. So we are in the first quadrant. Secondly, we have to decide on the sign of cos in the first quadrant. That's why that's a plus. Now we decide on the name. So this has got a 90 and a theta in here. So it's a cofunction. The name will change to the cofunction of cos is sine. And I put my brackets down ahead of time already. Now we're going to do cos theta plus 90 degrees. Don't be arrogant. We start over here. Plus theta plus 90 degrees. So we are in the second quadrant. Second, check if that name, what the sign of that name is in that quadrant. Cos in that quadrant is negative. Put the negative down. Then decide on the name what you're going to use. Because there's a 90 and a theta, the name will change. It becomes sine theta. So cos theta plus 90 degrees reduced becomes minus sine theta. One more. Sine 90 minus theta. In which quadrant is it? Start here. 90 minus theta. You are in the first quadrant. Next is sine positive or negative there. It is positive there. Decide on the name you're going to use. It's a cofunction. You write cos theta. Sine 90 degrees plus theta is in the second quadrant. Sine in the second quadrant is positive. I know it's a cofunction. I changed the name. Please stop the video and get your brain around this. From here, I'm just going to show you examples. So we look at our questions, we check in which quadrant we are, then decide if that name is positive or negative, this name in this quadrant. Then in this case, we will change all the names. Stop the video and check each of these functions separately. I'm going to give you about 40 examples, questions with the answers. Remember the 4 rules. Which quadrant? Is the answer a plus or a minus? What is the name I'm going to use? And put it in brackets. So let's see if you understand what you were taught. Let's reduce tan theta plus 360. We're in the first quadrant. Tan is positive there. I'm going to keep my function. I'm going to keep my name. Next one, cos 360 minus theta. We're in the fourth quadrant. Cos is positive there. I'm going to keep the name because there is no 270 or 90 here. Next one, sine 180 minus theta. I'm in the second quadrant. Sine is positive there. Keep the name. Next one, cos 90 minus theta. We are in the first quadrant. Cos is positive in the first quadrant. And I changed the name because there's a 90 and a theta together. Second last one I'm doing with you. Tan theta plus 180. In the third quadrant. This name is positive there. The name stays the same. Cos theta plus 90 degrees. We're in the second quadrant. Cos is negative in the second quadrant. And because there's a 90 and a theta, we change the name. So cos theta plus 90 degrees becomes minus sine theta. Sine 90 degrees plus theta is in the second quadrant. Final answer plus cos theta. Now let's do one small sum together. Here is a tan square bracket 180 degrees minus theta, close the bracket. Now your trig writing and what you were taught in this video will all kick in together. Which quadrant are you? You are in the second quadrant. What is the plus? Is it plus or minus for tan there? It is minus. Do I change the name or not? No, the name stays the same and I put a bracket around all and then the square comes into the discussion. Now, like a lot of places in trigonometry, now algebra kicks in. A minus times a minus gives you a plus. Just move the square back to where it's supposed to be written in trigonometry. Plus tan square theta. Stop the video and get your brain clearly around all these. There's another page. Check yourself if you understand what happened here. Stop the video, please. Here is another page of examples. Please stop the video and check it for yourself, please. And here is another page you can look at and check yourself if you understand what you did. Please stop the video and check it. Stop the video and see if you can do this one. Well done. This was for enrichment. See if you can do the next one. Stop the video, please. Well done. You are really good. Try the next one. Stop the video. Well done again. Another method here could have been, you could have taken that 270 degrees minus 360. That gives you a minus 90 degrees. Then that bracket becomes a minus 90 degrees plus theta, which also gets you to this quadrant, but it's unnecessary. And here is 5 more, a little bit more difficult examples, but we will cover that in reduction trig 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 when we start applying what you learned in these videos. Please indicate whether you liked or disliked the video and subscribe to the channel. If you run into a reduction problem that you can't solve, you can send a clear WhatsApp picture of your problem to this number, a clear WhatsApp picture of where you tried it. Then we will try and help you and send back an answer as soon as possible. Enjoy reduction.